My name is Ankita Jain. Uh, I have secured All India Rank 3. I have done BTech in Computer Science from Delhi Technological University. I have worked in private sector and then I worked in DRDO as a scientist. And at present, I am working in Indian Audit and Account Service and presently posted in Mumbai. Uh, my family consists of my father, he's a businessman, my mother, she's a housewife, my brother, he's a manager in KPMG, and my sister-in-law, she is also a housewife. My sister, who has secured All India Rank 21 this time, and my husband, uh, who is IPS of 2019 batch. This is my background. So I come from this background. I started my preparation in 2017 and it has been a very long journey. My preparation consists of spending 2 years dedicatedly for the preparation, and after that, after joining services, I am preparing along with the services. And during this course, I felt that a lot of preparation can be done online. I have referred basic books, which is recommended by most of the top. I have referred online test series, online discussions with my friends, since it was the year of COVID pandemic. So this year I focused more on online resources and whatever could be done within one room, whatever preparation we can do in one room, I have focused on that. And I have realized that note making is a very important aspect of this preparation. After saying that, I would like to mention my learnings during this course. So I have cleared prelims twice and have failed twice. So my failures, when I tried to analyze, I realized that there were certain things in each of the stage, be it prelims, mains or interview. I have learned a lot. So first most important is the positive attitude. Whenever I feel that I cannot do it or whenever I had self-doubt, I failed. So what were my learnings in prelims were, this time I focused more on understanding the things. Earlier I was trying to just memorize things, somehow memorize all the current affairs, but this time I did it differently. I tried to understand the concepts, and this has actually helped me in the examination. There were some long questions where they had explained the concept and not the term, and in the option they had asked what is being explained in the question. So this is how understanding the concept has helped me in prelims. And one more thing I did this time was, whenever I was giving my mock test, I analyzed that mock test, whatever my mistakes, I noted them down. I noted them down on a paper. For every mock test, I prepared 2-3 pages on which I only mentioned my mistakes. So whenever I was doing another test, I used to revise those mistakes, and before going into the examination, I revised those mistakes around 8 to 10 times. So I was quite sure that I won't repeat these mistakes at least. And I made some notes for prelims and I revised those notes quite often. And in the last 10 days before the preliminary examination, I tried to revise them at least twice. For mains, largely my main strategy was same as it was last year. I will explain it in detail, but some of the improvements which I did was improvement in the essay writing. I had my mentor who guided me how I can improve essay writing, and he mentioned that introduction should be your focus and the essay should be developed logically. And then in the answer writings, I focused a lot in presentation and understanding the concepts, understanding what is being asked in the question, what are the different aspects of the question and what needs to be answered. And there also I mentioned a lot of dimensions that makes an answer very holistic. And actually in this 4 years I did a lot of answer writing practice. Even if I was not doing even when I was not doing any test series, I used to do answer writing. And in fact I have done a lot of test series for mains answer writing, including the optional For optional, I think I have taken test series at least 4 times. Now coming to interview, I have focused this time on the structure of the answer, how I am giving my answer. So whenever some question is asked, it is very important to understand that question, what the intent of the interviewer. So there I realized that this answer, I have a lot of content about this answer, but I should answer it like this, in the way the person has asked. And then I picked some keywords from the questions, and I tried to incorporate them in my answer during the interview. And this time another thing which I think has helped me was the confidence. I went with the confidence that I'll do good, and I'll do it with no guilt and no fear and no regret. Even if I don't know anything, if I can't answer many questions, I'll say it's okay, I don't know, I'll read more about it. That's very human thing. You don't it is very difficult to know everything, so it is fine if you don't know 2 or 3 questions in interview. Now coming to the detailed strategy of mains, I'll take it exam wise. For essay, I have already mentioned the introduction is very important and it should be logically developed. It is not necessary to write quotes in every essay or write it it is not necessary to write in both the essays. You can write quote in one essay, or you can in fact skip the quotes, but your essay should be very logical and it should have some content. Now coming to the GS1. In GS1, I tried to cover all aspects. For example, if some question is asked about women, then I tried to see whether this question can be answered from different aspects, whether there is some historical reason, whether there is some cultural reason, economic aspects, some political aspects. In that way, I tried to answer the GS1 questions and society related questions. Coming to GS2 questions, in that I focused a lot on facts and committees. It is very important to write both the sides in GS2 and also in GS3. GS2 and GS3 are the dynamic portions. In these papers, you should focus on facts, committees, some new current affairs, new developments, and also you should try to make your conclusions and your introductions catchy. They should attract. Introduction should tell the examiner that you know the answer, and conclusion should be little different. It should say that you have done something different in the conclusion. Sometimes I used to close my conclusions with some scheme or some catchy phrases from the news. Like that I used to close my answers. And in GS4, I worked a lot on my introductions. In my introductions, I made it, after reading your introduction in GS4, the examiner should feel that you have a lot of content in this particular question, in this particular subject. And then while answering them, I used to include a lot of examples, and then I tried to make it I tried to cover it from many aspects and make it very comprehensive. And one thing in GS1 and GS2 and GS3, I tried to answer mostly in points. But in GS4, I didn't restrict myself. I focused both on more points and as well as on paras. So whatever was logical, what was the demand of the question, I answered those questions accordingly. And in mains, I think I have said this earlier also, making notes is very important. How many times you are able to revise depends on how concise and how crisp your notes are. So make them very crisp, so that even just before a day before the examination, you are able to at least revise the facts. So there's one little strategy. I used to note down facts separately, and then I used to revise facts just before the examination. And you can also prepare short notes for the revision in the end. Now, how some people ask me that I have managed my time very efficiently since I was in training, and now since I was posted also, uh, then also I have prepared for the examination and cleared it. So my strategy is something which has suited me. I would say that you also should develop your strategy according to yourself. uh, I have for 2 years I have dedicated my 2 years just for this. So if I say that in this four, after studying only for 4-5 hours I am able to secure rank 3, it would be wrong. My all 4 years have supported me, and I used to actually divide my time. For training time, I had given some dedicated time for training, and then there was some time for my study. And these were like mutually exclusive, no overlapping of these time. And then I had dedicated some time for my own development, for my own care, like exercise and all. This I used to do because it is a long journey, and you cannot, neglect your own health. And apart from that, you should also believe in yourself. But if you think that you cannot do it, it is difficult. I know it is difficult, but in the end you have to believe in yourself. Now I am asked to list some resources, online resources. So actually there are a lot of resources online. Some would be able to make use of resources which are available in their own language more efficiently, and some would be able to utilize the resources which can explain the concepts and things in more depth. So choose the resources according to your own strength and weaknesses, but restrict them. Don't follow all the resources whatever is available online. Just for example, if you are following some YouTube channel, stick to one channel, at max 2 channel. That's enough. It is important to limit, and also whatever you are studying, you need to revise them more often. And apart from that, you can utilize new software such as Evernote or your OneNote to prepare your online resources, which will make it easier to carry wherever you go and also to share. And you can do online discussions, telephonic discussions also, especially during the COVID pandemic. Now some people ask that when should we start answer writing. I'll say start quite early. So if you are like 3-4 months into the preparation, then start trying to answer the questions. First, what you have to do is read the question, try to understand from which area the question is being asked. Then try to divide the question, how many aspects are asked, and then in those aspects try to answer those aspects quite holistically. If there are 3 parts of one question, then try to give 4-5 points in each part. So that will make your answer very comprehensive and holistic. And also your answer should be very logical. Some people say that whether we should go after diagrams or whether we should stick to the flow charts and all. I have not done a lot of diagrams in my answers, because I feel that when I'm writing logically, it becomes difficult to break whole momentum and go for drawing the diagrams. Wherever it was required, where I felt that I can express more by making a diagram, there I made diagram, but there was no hard and fast rule for me to make a diagram. Next, what should you do and what you should not do. So first and foremost, you should do note making is essential for your prelims, interviews and mains. For everything, note making is very, very important. I cannot stress it enough. You will get notes in the market, from toppers also you will get, but if you are making your own notes, that would be very, very helpful. Sometimes I referred notes made by my friends or my family, but I did one thing. From those notes I used to make crisp or the concise notes also, so that I can revise them more often. I have presence on social media. I don't have much presence on social media, but yes, now I will be joining. I have presence on some platforms which I felt would be helpful for me. For instance, I am on WhatsApp, because sometimes we share our notes through WhatsApp and sometimes we discuss through WhatsApp. So this is the social media presence. This was my social media presence, but yes, I will be joining more platforms soon. One more question which many people ask is, should we join coaching classes? I think that is totally your call. You should assess what are your abilities and what is your requirement. I took coaching classes for 2 subjects. I took for GS2, and then because it was very technical, and that time when I started, I had little idea about it. I am from a science background, and then I took classes for philosophy optional, because I had it was very new subject for me. By GS2 I mean polity and governance and IR. I took classes for this and for philosophy, but I have seen people who don't take classes and they are able to do it. My own sister, she has not taken any classes. She has secured rank 21. That is because she had someone to tell what you should do. She had notes, she had everything. So if you are if you can understand concepts on your own, and if you are access to these notes, and you have someone to guide you. I had my husband also to guide me. So they and my friends, and these people guided me which books you should read, and how you should approach them. So if you have someone who can tell you about this, if you can figure out how to do it, then you may go ahead with the self study. And self study is something I think is very helpful. Everyone have to do it. Even if you are doing coaching classes, you will end up doing self study to a great extent, because you cannot escape from it. Even for my optional, I have taken classes. They were very comprehensive, but sometimes some new development comes, some new question comes. For that you will have to make some notes on your own. So nobody will spoon feed you. So keep in mind that if you are taking classes, coaching classes, you will have to do some kind of self study. And my suggestion is that you should take coaching classes if it is required, and if it is not required, if you can do it on your own, then please go ahead with the self study. My last advice to you would be to stay positive, believe in yourself. If you have chosen to work in this particular field, to take this exam, then do it with whole heart. If you do not want to do it, if you feel that it is a burden that I have to study for 8 or 9 hours, then please don't do it. Just try to figure out what inspires you, what is your passion, and what you really want to do, and then invest your time in that. Every profession is good. Every profession can fetch you satisfaction. So choose accordingly. What is your dream? You should choose that, and you should invest your energy, hard work and finances in that. Then next advice I'll give you is don't stop believing in yourself. There will be a lot of times you'll face failures. Just get through it. Stay strong. When things get tougher, something like that is there. I'm not able to recall properly, but tough people should get going. You have to be tougher than the tough times, and keep working on your weakness in whichever field you are, not just UPSC, whichever exam you are taking. I have taken GATE exam also. In that I secured All India rank 1. My broad strategy was this only in that exam. You should figure out what are your weaknesses, work on them, be thorough with them, do not repeat your mistakes. That will make you better than you were yesterday. Then I will say there are many strategies being floated over the media from the toppers. You will find my strategy also, you will find strategy from other toppers also. Listen to them, try to see why they have done this way, and what are the aspects which are useful to you. Modify those strategies according to your needs, and then work on them. if that strategy suits you completely, then you can adopt it completely. And in the end, I'd like to say that I'm very thankful to God, to my parents, my friends and family, and my support system, which has helped me through all thick and thin. I wish that you will also find such support systems in your life. Thanks for watching. Wish you all the very best. Have a nice day, everyone.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.